With episode 8 of the show being the highest rated in the series so far, and it's certainly providing an hour and 6 minutes of pure brilliance, there were so many moments in this episode that made it stand out for all of the right reasons. However, I thought I'd reveal what I thought the standout moment was. So let's get into it. Here is the most powerful moment in House of the Dragon episode 8. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The episode titled Lord of the Tides was one that stood out for so many different reasons. Paddy Considine stole the episode with his delivery of King Viserys, and he most certainly featured in the moment that stood out the most. This episode allowed us to see the cast in a completely different way and was rather intimate in the sense that most of it took place within the immediate family. However, I've got two other moments that came close to being the most powerful in the episode that I feel are also worthy of mentioning as well. The first I've called A Few Brief Moments of Peace. This moment occurred in the final third of the episode, and it was focused at the dinner that was being held by the family. We saw King Viserys stated how he felt as though he wouldn't be around for much longer, and we saw him take off his mask and reveal himself so his family could see him as more than a king, but a family member who loved them all. I thought this moment was extremely strong. The fact that the damaged side of his face was on the side of the table that contained the Hightowers and his children with Alicent, who were essentially behind the master plan and had been the death of him, contrasted with Viserys' most recognizable side of his face facing Rhaenyra, Daemon and her family, a side of his life that he mourns and is the only remaining thing that he had left of his beloved Queen Aemma. It was an interesting choice to do that, but I thought it painted the perfect picture of the two different directions of his life. We saw him mention how the House of the Dragon won't be able to stand strong if the house is divided, and it was here where we saw the different sides of the family reconcile. And Alicent even stated how she viewed Rhaenyra as heir to the Iron Throne in a massive twist. There was a beautiful scene that was of King Viserys looking over his family as they were all happy, enjoying being together and laughing. There was even a visual representation of the family being intertwined by Jacaerys dancing with Helaena, but also a subtle nod to the Dance of the Dragon which is looming, so it was completely different to how the family had been acting over the past few years. Viserys had achieved what he'd been fighting for years. He wanted his family to be together, for them to be happy, and for them to be on the same page so that peace would be upheld and the house would be strong. And that was enough for him to realize that it was time to leave and he could stop fighting. It was emotional and powerful, but it didn't quite take the top spot. Another moment that was close to taking the title was King Viserys' death. The upset that was felt when watching King Viserys take his last breath was devastating. Everything that occurred in this scene, from Alicent being confused about what Viserys was talking about, Viserys mistaking Alicent for Rhaenyra, and thinking that they were picking up on their conversation from earlier, it seems as though the civil war is going to spark and erupt based on the fact that Alicent didn't have a clue what Viserys was talking about. And the peace that was held for all of a few hours is going to be dismantled as Alicent seeks to put Aegon on the Iron Throne. I was on the edge of my seat hoping it wouldn't be misinterpreted, but of course it was. The real magic though happened once Alicent left the room, and this was when we watched King Viserys die, him uttering the words "no more" as a tear rolled down his face, and then uttering the words "my love" as it cut to black, as if to insinuate that he'd seen his true love Aemma, who he'd spent the entirety of the rest of his life without mourning, and feeling guilty for the decision that he made was utterly breathtaking, beautiful, and left a lump in my throat. Viserys' appearance was haunting to look at in his final moments, and you could see the suffering that he was in. He died believing that his family was at peace, and that there was nothing to worry about, when in reality it's the complete opposite. The war that was looming is drawing ever closer, and the beginning of the end is soon to arrive. The loud breaths, alteration to the way that he was speaking, and pain that it sounded as though he was in was an audible experience and allowed you to really feel what he was going through. It was a beautiful yet heartbreaking scene to watch. However, the moment that I believe is the most powerful in the entirety of episode 8 is King Viserys' entrance. This moment for me is the standout for a number of different reasons. We saw that Otto, Alicent and Aemond were set on being the snakes that they were in siding with Aemond in putting him as heir to the Driftwood throne. But as Rhaenyra was making her plea, we saw an epic entrance from King Viserys and a slow walk up to the Iron Throne. From the moment that the guard announced his name and titles, along with the score in the background, I was sucked into the screen in awe. Viserys struggled to walk, but took the Iron Throne with all of the life that he had within him. We saw Otto Hightower sheepishly get up from the Iron Throne in the background, which was a scene that painted 1,000 words. He was sat there with such confidence moments earlier, feeling as though he had all of the power, but as soon as the king came in, he cowered it away. There were parts in the walk, such as Rhaenys looking over at Viserys, but feeling as though she had to look away out of respect due to how ill the king looked, and a brief moment where we saw the king lock eyes with Rhaenyra as if to say, "I'm doing this for you." It was a beautiful shot that slowed right down, and I believe allowed us to see Rhaenyra through King Viserys' eyes, with the sole focus being on her, and the background being blurred, showing the importance that she holds in his life. The care that Rhaenyra was emitting with her look compared to his other children was at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. The only person on the Hightower side that showed an ounce of care was his wife Alicent. This was then followed by Daemon helping his brother as he dropped the crown, and saying "come on," as if to say that he needed to show that he was still strong. It was a beautiful moment between the brothers who had found themselves in petty conflict over the years. The shot of Daemon putting the crown on Viserys' head was also a poignant one. It showed us that Daemon never hungered for the throne. Their bond was mended and that there was a real sense of care between them, despite all that had happened in the past. Daemon respected his brother, and I believe he had done for the most part. This scene was something that showed the strength that King Viserys held, and was the final act that he did as king, showing that he still wanted to carry out his duty. It was also a scene that showed us the power of Considine's acting chops, and was some of his best work as King Viserys. It was emotional, heartbreaking, seeing how the illness had him on the verge of death, but also beautiful in the sense that he was going to fight for his daughter, and showed us the importance that she held in his life, even if it took time off of his. There were many moments in this episode, but these were the three that I thought were worthy of a mention, and the one that I thought stood out the most. So, there you have it, the most powerful moment in House of the Dragon Episode 8. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What was your most powerful moment? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.